Okay, are we live now? So FICO, if you can squeeze in a little bit on that side.
Yes, definitely.
It should be live. Are we live now?
Yes.
All right, so we are live with FICO. FICO is our credit repairs consultant.
Yes.
Right? So FICO, in the past, we have a lot of clients who came in here thinking of buying a home, right? But they feel insecure because they ran their own credit at home, and then they felt like their FICO is like 460, 480. They feel like, oh, I won't qualify to buy a home. Or somebody else, they go to a different real estate agent and their agent told them, you will never able to buy a home because of your FICO score is so low. Your credit report is no good. So they feel down, they feel hopeless. So what can we do on that?
Well, first of all, I do like to ask where they pulled their credit, because sometimes depending on where they pulled their credit, it could be inaccurate. And then how old is it? That's also another question. But definitely there are legal rights that protect our clients, so we can help them clean that up so they are able to purchase that home.
Okay, give me an example. Give me an example of how it will benefit in that scenario.
So let's say there's collections on the client's account. They're at 460. What I do is I look at their credit report, I'll review it, and I look for errors. Based on those errors, I work with the credit bureaus to get the items deleted. The other thing I'm looking for is if they have any positive credit set up. If they do, I teach them how to use those credit cards so it actually helps their credit instead of hurts them. If they don't have any credit set up, what I'll do is I'll get them credit established with some major banks that I work with.
Okay, so let's make this educational a little bit. Give us 3 tips, right, to help improve our FICO scores.
Okay. The best thing is don't run your credit if you don't need to. That's very important, because sometimes you'll go to Macy's and be like, oh, there's a sale. Would you like to apply? If you already know that you have bad credit, there's no reason to put in that application. Another really important thing is...
in regards to that, how many ideal credit cards we will ideally have?
So 3 is a good number.
Okay.
So if you have more, don't go and start closing them, because that's not a good thing.
Okay.
That's not what you want to do. But know the terms and conditions of your credit cards also. If you have several, you're not using them, it's really important to keep them active just to show some activity. Also, with that said, another point that can help the credit is bringing the credit card balances down. So if they're maxed out, bringing them to 10% or lower will really help improve your credit score.
So that's a good tips, right? Number one, because we have a lot of millennials, young people here, and they start going to UCLA and USC, and then there's everybody offering them, open up a credit card, I'm going to give you a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So they start going up and down, trying to get 10 t-shirts, so they end up with 10 lines. So basically, if you don't have a credit card yet, ideally 3, but if you already have more than 3, just don't cancel it.
Yes, don't cancel it, and no need to apply for all those credit cards.
Yeah, you don't need for a t-shirt, not worth it.
Not worth it, not at all.
And then number 2, your optimum balance is 10% of your limit.
That's
so if your
correct.
limit is $10,000, keep the balance under $1,000.
That's correct. And the last most important thing, which a lot of people discount, is just pay your bills on time. It's not a big deal. I mean, people are like, oh, I was just, 1 day late or 10 days late or 30 days late. One negative reporting can affect your credit score. I've seen it 20 to 50 points. It's major. And if you're going to go to the doctors, there's a copay. Pay the copay. Don't say I'm going to pay it later. So paying your bills on time, not being late, and taking care of the bills so they don't get sent to collections. It's a very important thing to keep good, healthy credit.
Is there a pro and cons? Let's say I have a $10,000 credit limit. I'll use it below $1,000. Is there what's the pro and cons of, let's say the minimum payments is $20. What's the pro and cons paying it $20 or more than the minimum balance? And what is the pro and cons of bringing that balance to 0?
Okay, so if you pay it off, that's okay. So it's a really tricky question, because if it's a brand new credit card, lender tells you to, that's what I would say.
Otherwise, I see, because it's related.
Yes, I would say.
But as far as improving the FICO score?
Keeping it at 10% or lower, that's the magic number.
That's the main thing.
That was the magic number.
Absolutely, because, so let's say on that example that you gave, if the minimum payment is only $20, but you're paying 19%, right? There's really no sense in paying 19% if you can afford to pay more. Right. So the goal is really to be debt free, I would think.
So we have a lot of clients here, Armando, right? As you know, you work with a lot of our clients here who's thinking of buying a home. Give an example that clients that you work on this week, this month, that they came in thinking not qualify, and then using our program here, then they are able to move into their dream home. They've been turned down by so many different real estate agents saying that you don't qualify, go back, keep on doing what you do. So let's share the most recent real life story of a family that we help.
So we've done a few. I've known FICO for a few years. There's one that always stands out to me. There was a couple who last name was Rodriguez, and they came over to me. Initially, they had a 570 credit score. They couldn't do anything. FICO worked with them. They came back at like a 720, 722. I think I don't remember what it was, but it was above 720. And you know, it's one of those things where they're so happy because they had gone through lenders and other real estate offices who just told them, sorry, we can't help you. Sorry, we can't help you. And they come to us and we're like, well, we can't get you into a home right now, but we can help you, right?
How long it takes you, FICO, from 560 to 7? What was it just now?
That one was 722 or 7.
From 560 to 720, like what's the details on that?
So
what's the story behind
it? It's a 12 business week program, but a lot of it depends on the client too. Yeah. If they're following directions, if they're actually giving me the documents that I need. So the more cooperation I have with the clients, the more likely we are to finish on time.
Give an example of cooperation, like.
Okay, so if I ask them not to run their credit, they need to not run their credit. A lot of times, like what I was saying, is when they see their credit score getting better, they feel like, oh, I need a car now, or I need more credit cards. So when they go and they run their credit more, that goes against what I'm trying to do. Right. Also, educating them on how they need to use their credit cards and having those credit cards. So if they have those credit cards set up, I tell them that they need to keep them at 10% or lower. Just educating them, teaching them how to keep track of all the things that I have taught them throughout the process so that we can maximize the credit score.
That's good. Basically, there's got to be some level of trust, right?
Yes.
So if there's a reason why we are doing this, because when you co-sign on a car, then that's a different issue. What else, Armando? Give another example of real life home buyers who were not able to buy, and then came here and then using this program, and now they're at their new home.
So there's a personal friend of mine that FICO also helped. Young kid who's in the military. His credit was really bad. So when he got deployed, right? A lot of times people have bad credit, but they're not really bad people. Just things happen. Yeah. He was deployed, and his credit cards didn't freeze the way they're supposed to. So they all sent him to collections. He was deployed for, I think, 6 months or 12 months. And when he came back, his credit was horrible. So FICO was able to work with him and get him up. And right now he's starting to look for a home again. So we'll get him a home probably in the next 2 or 3 months.
So what are we able to remove? What are you able to remove, FICO, from credit reports?
Just about anything, as long as I can find an error related to it.
So
anything negative. We don't want to take away anything positive. So a lot of people they're like, well, if I get this account's been on this account's like 20 years old, it's on my credit report, I want it gone. Well, if it has positive history, why would you want to take it away? Because history is about 35% of your
So we talk about stuff like foreclosure, short sale, bankruptcy, collection, charge-off, judgments.
Yes, all that can be deleted.
As long as, what do you say?
I find an error. As long as there's error related to it.
So you're using the law. Basically, you are using the technicalities.
Yes.
That's how you removed it from the credit report.
That's correct.
Right?
Yes.
You're looking for, hey, Bank of America, show me these documents, because the law requires you to do certain things, and if they are not able to produce, then they'll remove it. How do we know it's being removed?
The client actually gets all the results, so I get that all the time. Well, how do I know if my file's being worked on? Yeah. Well, every 45 days, they actually get all the results directly from all 3 credit agencies, and on there it'll say deleted, so they'll know that it actually did get deleted. Okay. And then I have them sign up for like a website, Credit Karma, Credit Check Total. We can go on there and verify it, that it has been done. When a verified document comes from the bureaus, you know that it's been done.
Basically what you do is this, correct me if I'm wrong, but what you do, you are using, there are over 200 laws, right, that govern this. You are looking at that, and you compare that against the credit report.
That's correct.
And you're trying to see which one. You are challenging each one of those.
That's correct.
And then how you know the result is because you're going to get the reports directly from the credit bureau.
That's right. Equifax, TransUnion, Experian will send individual reports back to the client based on the errors that I wrote on. They'll reply with the results.
And we talked about it just now, and this is like a band-aid. This doesn't really solve the problem, but what's the difference between you and the typical credit repairs company? You take one more step further.
Yes. So collection agencies are So basically what happens is when I write to the credit bureaus on a negative item, they'll go directly to the collection company and they'll say, hey, client, John Doe is saying that you have all these laws that you've broken, what's your reply? Well, collection companies, they give a reply, it may be valid or not valid. The credit bureaus don't care because they're for-profit agencies. That's how they get paid. So what I do is I'll write a letter for my client to send out to the collection company asking for the legal documents that they have to have on file. And if they don't have it, they can no longer legally continue to report it. So not only are we hitting the bureaus, but we're also directly going to the source of the reporting. And we also do that with bankruptcies. We'll go to the courthouse, we write them letters asking them for very specific documents. A lot of times they're unable to provide, so they'll send us a letter that says, hey, we don't have these documents and we're not reporting it. So we take that letter and we'll supply that to the bureaus.
So you go to the bureau, you go to the agency who's reporting it.
Yes.
And you also spend time to educate the clients.
Yes.
Because that's the real issue. Because if the borrowers, if the customers, the clients continue doing the same thing, then that thing's gonna pop up over and over again. Right? You know what they say, right? Money issue cannot be solved by having more money. Right? It's 90% is behavior, 90% is psychology. So how do you, give me an example, how do you teach, in your consultation with the clients, with the family, how do you educate them as far as credit repairs?
Okay, so I take, when I'm looking at their credit report, I can kind of tell a little bit about what their habits are. So if I see their credit cards are, being massively used, I ask them, what's going on? Why are these credit cards being used? Or if I see there's current lates, I'll ask them, why are you currently late? Oh, because I just, a lot of times, oh, well, I thought I would pay it later. So I educate them and let them know how important it is to pay it on time. So basically, after reviewing their credit reports, because everyone has their own personal problems with their credit. Based on what their personal issues are, I will discuss them and break it down for them and teach them how to use their credit cards, how not to run their credit if they don't need it to be ran, how to pay their bills. So I'll break it down from A to Z on what they need to do to move forward.
That's powerful, right? We want to make sure we are here. Our mission in our company here is to elevate our clients' family lifestyle, and the way to elevate our clients' family lifestyle is to make sure we structure them financially strong. So, and then people usually ask, how much will it cost? And for our clients, Armando, this is what we're gonna do, okay? It will not cost them anything. Well, it may cost them something at the beginning, I don't know, but whatever you use, whatever you guys use to retain FICO here, at the close of escrow on your new home, I'll pay it back for it.
Wow.
Right? Wow. So, because I don't want this. I don't want people to focus on pennies. I don't want you to trying to grab a pennies and then lose a dollar. It doesn't make sense. There's a bigger issue here. Why are we buying home? That's a hedge against inflation. Think about it. If you never buy a home and you always save money, even if every day you save 100% of your income, let's say you eat ramen every day. Let's say you don't eat, how about that? You drink water every day. You save 100% of your income. There is no way you can hedge against inflation. You lose money.
That's correct.
The only way to win, like we are not even talking about rich, we are trying to keep up with inflation is through home ownership, because that's how we can win against the equity. So that's the reason why we are doing this. Anything else from your perspective? We want to make sure people know. We want to share something that people who watch this, they can learn something that they can apply right away, right? Like just now, I like the fact that you mentioned about keep your balance under 10% of the limit. Make sure you pay it on time or early. Number 3, try to keep it, do not open more than 3. If you have more than 3, don't close it. Oh, let's go, but why don't close it? Let's say I have 10 now, and then I hear 3, okay, let's just close all the 7.
Because when you close them, it actually hurts your credit score. The other thing is if you're not using all your credit cards, you might want to call them and find out what the terms and conditions are. There is some credit cards are required to be used every 6 months, some are every year. So know what the terms and conditions are of your credit cards. It's very important. And if they are required to be used once a year, you want to use it. Because if it goes inactive or gets closed, that actually lower the credit score.
Wow. Okay, so that's good. So you have 15 credit cards, never used it, only used the one, always pay off everything, but that is not a good thing.
No.
Because the terms of the other credit card, basically what you are saying is this: one of them may say you have to use it at least once a year. If not, it's going to go against you. Is that basically
That's
what
correct.
you're saying?
If they close it, it will lower your. The other thing is if they have 15 credit cards and they're only using one and piling everything up on there, that's not good too. It's better to spread it out, because when we talked about the 10%, if they have available monies on all their credit cards and they have to make, let's say, they're going on vacation, it's better to put a little bit on all than to pile it up on one for your credit score.
Wow, that's powerful.
Unless you're planning to pay it off right away.
That's good. So what if, let's say I have 15 credit cards, right? And I already use one, $300. Not much because I don't really use the credit cards. But then, let's say we wanna, because we didn't know you from 20 years ago, we wanna close the other 50. Is there a safe way to close, or?
I mean, if you have if there are 15 credit cards and you're really not using them, I would just go back and look at, okay, which ones are the ones that were opened more recently, and I'd probably focus on closing those out first. The ones with the history is probably the ones that you want to keep, or the ones, let's say, that have higher balances. It depends, on what exactly for that it's personalized. So
can you help with that as well?
Yes, I can.
So
yes.
Basically, it doesn't have to be. So I think the takeaway is this: it doesn't have to have people with problems.
Yes.
Right.
That's correct.
Credit repairs doesn't mean people with problems. This is just, we are talking about setting up the future. Like if you already have this, then you can help with that.
Absolutely. I get people that have great credit but bad credit scores. So I help them all the time.
How does it work? Great credit but bad credit. Give me an example.
Okay, so great credit would be they don't have any collections, they don't have any charge-offs, they don't have any foreclosures, but they just have bad credit scores, again, because of their bad habits, the way they're using their credit cards, maybe not staying on top of it and they're being closed, or maybe they're in line at Macy's and they're just applying everywhere.
Oh yeah,
so
if you don't go shopping,
exactly.
always open up new ones, I see.
Yes, so those are things that I can help with.
I see. That actually makes sense. Imagine you go to Macy's, you open up, you are trying to get the 10% discount, and then next month you close it because you think you don't do it. Yeah. That actually against
you.
Wow. What else? What's the most common mistakes? Or not mistakes, I guess. If we're gonna wrap up with this, what's the top 3 things that you want people to know based on your experience? Oh, by the way, how long have you been doing this again?
About 15 years.
15 years?
Yeah. About 15 years. So
the next question, how old are you? But it's okay.
So the number one thing is always, talk to your lender first, because I think that's most important. Sometimes Armando and I might not say exactly the same thing, but he's trying to get the loan done and I'm trying to get
different objective.
Right? Yeah, I'm trying to get the credit score. So that's number one, the most important thing. Number 2 is if you are in the process of purchasing a home, don't go and make another purchase. There's no need to pay, no need to go apply for other credit cards. It's really important.
That's very common, basically.
Yes.
Cars.
Yes. Right when they see their credit
score. Oh, because they see, the FICO is improving, and they're so happy to open up a new one.
Yes. Now, then they decide to go get a new car when they see their credit scores up. That's a big no-no. Yeah. And the last thing is just pay your bills on time. It's very simple. Don't delay it. Don't procrastinate. Pay the bill. Save your credit.
I hope if there's any question, comment below, and FICO is gonna answer that question live. Is there any question? All right, man. That's it. That's it. Anything else from your end, Armando?
No, I think she did a good job.
That's good. So to get a free consult, is it a free consult? I just want to make sure I'm not over. I just want to make sure we are not over promising.
Even if it's not, I'll do it for you. But it is.
To get a free consult. So when you come to our office here, when you're thinking of buying a home here in our team, we give them access to homes, including homes that they cannot find online. Because most real estate agents, when the buyers go to a real estate agent, the typical real estate agents only give them access to homes that they themselves already seen on the internet. How ridiculous is that, right? The buyers already seen the home on Zillow, and then they go to a real estate agent, they show the same thing, right? So when they come here, number one, we're gonna help our clients here to structure their offers to be able to compete against cash offers. So when we submit an offer, we put 0 loan contingency, regardless how much down payment they put. Number 2, we're gonna give them access to homes, including homes that are not available on the internet. Bank foreclosure, short sale, corporate owned, homes that you cannot be available online. And the next thing, we're gonna guarantee you save at least $10,000 on your next home purchase. And then if you need this service, what do you call this? Credit repair?
Credit repair, credit restoration.
If you ever need this, I don't want the FICO, right? I don't want FICO to prevent you and your family to homeownership. That's stupid, basically. You know what I mean? Like FICO is just like, what is FICO anyway? Like, where does this number come from?
There's 200
like, what is it, from heaven?
No. So there's 200 factors that are taken into your credit score. Some being where you live. That's something that we can't control sometimes, what you do for a living.
That's another reason why, if you're living in a gangster-infested area. What do you mean when you say when you live?
Where you live.
What? The demographic, the income of the people within the area.
That is correct.
Okay.
And what you do for a living also is one of the factors.
What you do for a living?
Yes,
give me an
that's
example.
Also a factor. Okay, well, I had a teacher and a CIA agent that I actually did credit repair for. They had almost identical credit scores when I started, and deleted everything off of there. There's only about 3 accounts, I believe, on each. But the CIA agent actually got up to 815, and my teacher got up to a 680. Wow. So sometimes, depending on what you do for a living, does actually, I see that a lot with teachers, though, when we happening with their credit scores.
So teachers, is there more? It's
there's so many different factors. I can't just say
it's hard to say,
it's hard to say exactly, but how long they've been doing that. So just those are some of the factors.
What about real estate salespeople?
That's just one that comes in my head that actually I was really wowed upon, is like,
because they're comparable.
Because they're comparable.
And then what
a lot
else?
of times you don't get comparable.
Where they live, because the people, I heard, because I think there was is it true, if I use my credit card in certain neighborhoods, that also affect the usage, it also affected me. Is that true? Meaning,
I have not heard that.
Okay, but it's where you live.
It's where you live.
Okay.
So, and then how long you've had credit, that's another factor that affects our credit score. So there's many different factors that affect the credit score.
So we don't want FICO to be preventing you from going that, right? So basically, when at the close of escrow, you're gonna receive a certificate if you need be. If we give people $1,000 coupon to be applied towards their closing costs, is that enough to cover this? Most likely less, right?
Yes.
Your service is less than that.
Yes, so I just have to review the credit report and then I can let them know.
It depends. But I'm going to give, if people need the service of your service, I'm going to give them our $1,000 credit that they can apply towards their next closing costs. Does it make sense?
That sounds wonderful.
So they may pay you whatever you charge them, because it depends. You cannot answer the question. It depends on the situation. But I'm going to give them at least $1,000 coupon that they can use towards that at the close of escrow.
Yes, so $1,000 would be the maximum that an individual client would
basically, don't charge more than $1,000.
Yeah, I won't.
Because then we have
for individual, we won't.
Yes. Yep. And then what else? I think that's it, right? Now to set up your private consultation to discuss this, call 626-789-0159. Again, call 626-789-0159. Or if you have any question, just comment below. That's it.